This is a Thunder Game Report.
Hi, I'm Randy Renner. Thunder back to practice today, and a lot of talk about the Clippers coming in here tomorrow night. They'll be playing the second night of a back-to-back. Would that make any difference? And what about those Clippers? A little bit of a scouting report from Thunder head coach Scott Brooks, and we also had a chance to talk to Nick Collison.
Nick, the last time you played Los Angeles, the Clippers, it was kind of an aberration because they out-rebounded you badly. But as a rule, it looks like you guys have sort of figured out a lot of the rebounding issues that you've wanted to for the last year or two. Is that about right?
Yeah, we've been better this year. That we used to give up a lot more offensive rebounds. I mean, it's early in the season, but we've been good so far. So, but we'll have our hands full against the Clippers. They got big, athletic guys inside, and Chris Paul breaks people down if you don't take care of him at the point of the ball, which can lead to box-out breakdowns. So, it'll be a challenge tomorrow.
What's made the difference in the rebound, generally in the rebounding improvement?
I think it's more of a priority. Guys are getting a hit or a box out instead of just chasing the ball and turning and watching the ball and trying to out-jump guys. That's what we try to do anyway, so hopefully we'll keep that up.
Nick, when you look back at the first half and the second half of that Clippers game, what was the difference between the two halves?
Well, I think we definitely had a bad stretch in the second half. I think a lot of it had to do, we got away from just playing simple basketball. And in the first half, we were getting to our spots, running our plays, and just wherever the ball would go, we'd end up with a shot. And then also defensively, we had a lot of breakdowns late in that game. So they're a team that you really have to be solid against because they can hurt you in a lot of different ways.
When it comes to trying to build consistency, how does having 2 weeks straight at home help with that?
Well, it'll get us some time to practice and to watch film, so we can tighten some things up. So hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of it.
Are there things that you can do here at this facility during that stretch that you wouldn't be able to do on the road, kind of to build those things? Well,
yeah, I think just especially having the 2-day break here between this game and the next, it gives you just an extra day. As a coach in the NBA, you're always trying to weigh whether recovery is more important or practicing is more important, but here we get a chance to do both. So those things help, and more time to watch film. That always helps, just to sharpen up on a lot of the little things.
How much difference does it make that the Clippers will be on the back end of a back-to-back tomorrow night?
Well, I think for us it doesn't really change anything. If we defend and pass the ball and do all the things we always try to do, we'll be better off, and I think that's what we're concerned about. We're not too concerned about how fresh they are. They're going to be good. They're going to be a tough team to beat here tomorrow.
Is it beneficial at all to have just played them last week, or does that matter that much?
I think I don't necessarily think so because they're in the same boat. They're going to watch tape and see what they can work on to get better too. So I don't think I think it'll just depend on who plays better tomorrow night.
Nick, of the early inconsistencies, how much do you think it's Kevin Martin being gone?
I don't think that's necessarily much of it. I don't think our problems are personnel based. I think most of our mistakes are breakdowns in something fundamental that we all know. It doesn't matter if it's a young guy or a veteran guy. We know what we should have done and how we can do better. So I think just our focus needs to be a little bit higher, and that'll give us some consistency in our play.
So is that complacency then?
Well, it's just part of the game. It's part of the season. There are going to be times where we don't play as well as others, but I think we just want to keep working towards playing at a really high level, and a lot of that is effort, which you always want to have, and then concentration and just awareness. And I think you can't be perfect every single game, but what we want to do is have better stretches, and we're going to always have. There's always going to be stretches where we don't play well, but those stretches are happening too often and for too long. So we want to be able to cut that out and play at a higher level.
Is there a human nature side to this? Do you look at the caliber of the teams now that you're confronting, with the exception of Utah and their struggles on Sunday, and does that automatically have you guys sharper, do you think, going into these?
Well, we've got guys that have been around a lot. We've played in all types of games against all types of opponents. I think there's always guys always are excited to play the best teams, so that's definitely true. But we also are pros here, and we're experienced, and we know that what we're trying to do is be the best team at the end of the year, and so we have to build on that every day, regardless who we're playing, whether it's a practice day or just watching film. We need to always have in the back of our mind that we're trying to be as good as we can possibly be at the end of the year.
Last game against the Clippers, you guys got into a little bit of Serge and Matt Barnes and Blake Griffin got into a little bit of a kind of fight. Do you guys hold that against them next when you play them again, or?
It's really a non-issue. Stuff like that happens all the time in the NBA. We've all seen it a million times, so it's really a non-issue. We'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Do you think Blake Griffin plays dirty?
No, I don't think so. Everybody in the league is trying to play well and trying to get advantages certain ways, and he's no different than anybody else in the league.
Nick, you ever had a teammate at the restaurant before?
No, I don't think so.
Have you had a chance to see Kevin's new spot?
No, I'm looking forward to it though. Is it open yet?
Almost.
Yeah. I think I just got something in my mailbox. He's having an event for us, I think, or for other people too, I'm sure, for the opening. So I'm looking forward to it.
What's been the reaction just on the team that he's gotten to that level where he can have his own restaurant?
I haven't heard a lot of guys talk about it, but if the business is done well, I think it'll be great. I mean, he's got a ton of popularity. Everybody loves him, but that's a tough business. Restaurants are a tough business. I think they still have to, make good food and have good service like anything else. But it'll be exciting to see it, and hopefully it goes well for him.
Not just the restaurant, but all the other things, the commercials. Is it ever crazy to you just how everywhere he is?
Yeah, he's come. A lot of that stuff has changed a lot for him in the last few years. I've been with him since he got into the league, and he didn't have much of that going on in his life. But I think he's handled it well. I think the big thing for him and for us is that it's not stressing him out. It's not adding any negative, and it doesn't seem to be. He seems to be handling all that stuff well, and it's good to see. We all want him to do well and have as many opportunities as he can get.
Coach, are there inherent advantages to having 2 straight weeks here in the facility, practice, all that kind of thing?
Yes, I think it's nice that we're home for a few weeks. We have a great environment. Guys love to come in and put their work in every day, and we take advantage of all the opportunities that the building gives us. And just good to be home. It's good to be home. Home crowds are great, but I think we take advantage of the practice court a lot, and so we love being here.
Your voice sounds a little ragged. Is that what those fourth quarter comebacks do to you?
Yeah, and bags in the eyes. But that's what NBA basketball is about: is playing every possession till the end. You never know what happens, and we've seen our share of fourth quarter games this year, but I anticipate that's going to be all year long.
What do you want to see just biggest changes so that they're not fourth quarter games? Because last year, a lot of times you didn't have a lot of fourth quarter games, and I know that's last season, but what do you need to make the biggest improvements?
We have to have better starts, which can happen. It's not like we have a team that can't have good starts, but we have to have better starts. We have to have better third quarters. But it's all about, as a team, we have to just play better. But we know that we can. We like what we've done. That come back in some of those games, but we have to make sure that we play with the sense of urgency and the proper energy, and that it needs, that it has to happen for us to be successful.
Coach, 10 games into the season, which guy is sticking out, maybe not on the stat sheet, but really making an impact in the team?
It's so many guys. So many. I think we're having Russell back, obviously, is a big impact. Nick is one of those guys that you kind of don't talk about, but he does so many things that it helps you win games. Is the glue guy that we talk about. Reggie's had some good moments. Steven's had good moments. I think it's unfair to say one guy. I think everybody has chipped in, but I like what we've done. I think we can get better, and we understand that. And that's the thing I like about our team. We know that we can get better.
Rebounding in Los Angeles was really an aberration for you guys. Why is rebounding so much better for this team at either end of the floor?
Well, I think the easy thing is Serge is rebounding much better, and I think as a group we understand that we have to be a rebounding team. And numbers are staggering when we out-rebound teams. I know that's every year is different, but that's just going on the last couple of years. And so far, the start of this season, it's been the case. You out-rebound teams, you're going to have success, and partly is because you're playing defense and you're making them miss, so there is a rebound. But we just have to keep plugging along, and good things will happen.
Guards are really helping.
Guards, we've always been a good rebounding team from the guard standpoint. Russell has always been one of the league leaders in rebounding point guards. Tabo has been up there, and Kevin has been one of the league leaders at his spot. That's always been the case. We've always been a good rebounding team by committee. It's nice to have Serge kind of stand out there, but we still have that commitment to rebound as a team.
Scott, how much do you anticipate Perk being back against the Clippers helping your defense, particularly in the pick and roll?
Well, pick and roll coverage is as important as any part of the defense for bigs in this league, and Perk understands that those coverages and schemes very well. We have to do a great job, and they have one of the best players in the league at manipulating the screen and rolls with Chris Paul. And they have outstanding bigs that can roll and can finish at the rim and above the rim. And they got the three-point shooters throughout the floor. So they're a good team because their team is very talented. But Perk does a good job in pick and roll coverage.
You mentioned Tabo. What do you think of his start the first 10 games? How he's played?
Well, he hasn't shot the ball well, but he's rebounding well. He plays hard like he always does. And his shooting, the last 2 years has been right at the 40% mark from the three. And I think, my guess that will kind of even itself out. Hopefully at the end of the year, that's back up to where it was the last 2 years. I think he's played solid.
Coach, how much of the slow start do you think is complacency?
I mean, I hope that that's not the case. Because when you're complacent, the other teams are going to come in and beat you. And that hasn't been the case at our building yet. But if we don't have better starts, it's going to be tough to keep coming from behind. And we understand that, but we have to be able to do it on the court.
How much do you think is it with Kevin Martin gone? Do you think there's still adjustments there?
I think there's adjustments throughout the season. We can be 50 or 60 games into it. There's adjustments that are made. I know Darnell doesn't think that I make them, but we make adjustments throughout the season.
Thanks for reading my story today, Scott.
I didn't read it yet. But I think you make adjustments. I think it's important, but our guys understand that. I think they've done a good job this year, but there's going to be more adjustments need to be made throughout the season that we have to. Every team does it. Whether you're playing small, big, medium ball, you have to be able to make adjustments on the fly also.
The Clippers seem to be a team that kind of likes to push buttons with their opponents, whether it's things said, things done, that sort of thing, especially with what happened last week. Do you have to remind your guys not to take the bait in any of those kind of situations?
I've never had to in the past. I don't anticipate going forward that I would have to. We understand the game is played 94 feet by 50, and it's important that it's just focused on the court. Guys will say things and players will say things, but it doesn't mean nothing. You have to play and man up every night in this league, and the guys who talk are the guys that probably are talking because they don't have the game to speak for itself, and I don't think that's been the case with us. We've always just been focused on playing. Kevin and Russell's been a tremendous leader in that area. They play hard and they play together and they play for each other, and it kind of sets the table for us.
Do you think it makes a difference that that the Clippers are coming off the back end of a back-to-back tomorrow, or to be the second part?
I don't use that as an advantage. I don't use that as an excuse. Everybody has the same amount of 82 game schedule. You play against good teams every night, and you have to come every night and do your job. Back-to-back, not back-to-back. We had a tough back-to-back after the Clippers going into Golden State, and we came within 2 seconds of winning that game. So you have to play. It's a 48-minute game. Whoever plays the best wins the game usually.
Scott, Doc Rivers said after the last game that he could see how much both teams really wanted to win your matchup. Did you sense that, and do you kind of sense that in general between these two teams, both being sort of Western Conference heavyweights?
Well, I hope that the other 28 coaches feel the same way after we play them, because we want to win every game we play. And we take pride in what we do. Our team is very prideful, and they're a very resilient group. They understand that everything is not always going to go their way, but sometimes you have to force your way into the game, and I think our guys do a good job game in, game out doing that. We don't ever go one game is more important than the other game. There's too many games. They're all important. 82 games are important.
Is your start even more important? Because under J.J. Redick, I think he's one of the leading first quarter guys in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I think it's like 8 or 9 points a game in that first quarter. He's a good player. Give him a lot of credit. He has really made a nice spot in this league with his hard work that he plays, or this hard effort that he plays with every night. And he's a tremendous shooter. He's an amazing foul shooter, and then he draws a lot of attention. A lot of guys, you don't look at him as drawing a lot of attention, but he creates a lot of havoc for opponents.
What's the focus for your perimeter defenders against a guy like him or O.J. Mayo, who's coming off a lot of screens and that kind of thing?
Well, you better be able to follow his footsteps, and if you don't, he doesn't need a lot of space to get his shot off. So you really have to lock in and stay connected with him. And they set good screens, and he flies off of it, and he never stops. He's always running his routes at a high level, and that's important for guys to see, because if he runs his plays 10 times hard, he might only get one shot out of it, but he has to be able to do it every time for him to have success, and he does it. Give him a lot of credit.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thunder will have shoot-around here tomorrow, and then the Clipper game coming up at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And remember, that is a national telecast, TNT, in town. We'll be there for pregame comments from both Coach Brooks of Oklahoma City and Doc Rivers with the Clippers, and we'll be around for postgame as well. So keep checking back at ThunderGameReport.com.